Before high school is over, students need to venture into the unknown. They need to take a leap outside of their own bubble and try everything they can outside of their comfort zone. For Masconomet students, the opportunity to participate in the French and Spanish exchange was their way to jump into it.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate field trip, right? So going on exchange is, or going on a field trip is, so you can see outside these walls and see what's actually out there in the world.
2 students who went on the French exchange had their first international experience.
So I've never been outside of the country, and I've been learning French for like 5 years now, and I think it would be nice to actually use it somehow. Finally being able to like go somewhere and do something outside of just this little community we're in is going to be a really good opportunity for growth for me, because you grow the most when you're outside of your comfort zone.
My stepmom is from Russia, and she first came to America on an exchange trip. So when I first met her, she would always just tell stories about it and how fun it was. And I was very jealous, and I wanted to do it.
The exchange students also had their own special reasons for saying yes to the once-in-a-lifetime trip.
Well, when I was small, I saw all the time people from our school that came to this experience, and I wanted to try it too. So
our parents told us that so much to learn as many languages that we can, because they think that it's important to travel, to work, and to meet new people.
I also wanted to visit a new place and have more experience with native speakers. But there's also a very important part of this, which is just knowing new places, because it's not that I haven't traveled a lot, but I've traveled mainly in Spain itself. I haven't really gone outside of it. So what I wanted to do is doing that, and also being able to just know the differences, to see them.
The teachers from both exchanges shared their thoughts on what makes the trip all worth it and why students should go.
When I went on I led my first exchange over 10 years ago. We walked into a La Mezquita, which is a building in Cordoba, Spain, and one of my students had an epiphany right then and there, and he just walked in, his eyes lit up, and he just goes, "We're here." He didn't know where we were going. He didn't really understand we were going to visit this place, but he had seen this place in books. He had seen this place on video. He had seen, he had learned about this place, and then all of a sudden he was there.
It's also a really empowering experience to go abroad and to actually use the language you've been learning, and to, just realize wow, people understand me.
Yeah. And to put that 4 or 5 years of academic study to real world use, I think is very profitable.
You get to see your own students come out of their shells. They start to learn little idiosyncrasies about the language that are fascinating. They start to talk with a Spanish accent, which is just endearing and hilarious all at the same time.
Once in America, the exchange students had realized why learning English was so important to them.
And also when you travel, speaking English can make you able to meet people and just not just stay at your hotel and do touristic.
I can speak with my other members of family who live in a foreign country. So I think it's very important to learn English just to be able to communicate with everyone and to understand everything you see on the internet, for example.
And it can help you to improve your mind and to be more open-minded.
English, it's becoming a more global language, because now almost everyone in every part of the world can speak English, which is something that wasn't so true in the past. In the past it was more like French, like this universal language, but now it's English. So in my opinion, just even if it's just to communicate with most people, it's better to know English.
As friendships developed, it was quickly learned how similar they all were.
My parents would say, like, you guys are like the same person. They picked you together perfectly. We just both enjoy doing the same things together. She loved playing with my little siblings, which I also love to do. And it was just really nice. Even when we would both like be quiet and do homework together in the same room, it didn't feel uncomfortable. It just felt normal.
I think it's interesting like to have friends all around the world.
I've heard everything from, we didn't really get along to they're the best man at my wedding.
In that environment, you're kind of not really forced to make friends with each other, but people just click immediately.
American students were quite similar to the French.
He always brought some good vibes to the table every day. He was very positive for the most part.
She is very optimistic, very just happy about everything. As soon as she got off the bus, when they got here, everybody was pretty tired, but she just like ran up and just hugged me and was just so excited just to be in America. And it was very refreshing.
There's also at the welcome party, because we were having like a Thanksgiving dinner and everything, the host family set up this big whiteboard, and it said on it the words, "What are you thankful for?" And they were just writing things on it, and it was a really fun experience just because to see like so much joy in everyone. Like some of the writing was in French, some of it was in English, and it was just really cool to see this whole that was the purpose of the whole exchange right there. I felt to see all these connections of all these people who were grateful for similar things.
There are certain moments that make it all worth it. There's the certain aha moments.
But it's really cool how we shared very like similar perspectives on people, and like we would talk about like, we kind of would gossip, honestly.
Even with all the similarities, exchange students learned many differences between the countries.
Yeah, and about the community, everyone knows everyone. It's really scary, like you just have to say a name and everyone's around you know it. It's really impressive how much you gossip in this country.
We gossip a lot too in France.
Yeah, but we don't have all these links between everyone.
Because maybe people are different. Not everyone is the same age in the class.
It is very different because in the same classes there are people from different ages and there are also very different subjects from school. And there are a lot of teachers and the teachers have very good relationships with the students. Like in our school, we have to change we don't have to change to other classroom, just the teachers come to us.
You have so many options here. Like classes, you can do whatever you want. In France, we have like really specific thing, like math, French, English, and science. Yes, it's not really like the student don't choose what they want to do.
And then in terms of like college, we have a lot more opportunity and like choices we can make for our future, whereas them like from when they're in middle school or around that time, they kind of need to start making decisions of like what their career is going to be. And we have all the way until high school, plus like time in college to figure out what you want to do. And there's just so many paths you can take.
Despite the inevitable differences, the similarities and genuine bonds created over a short period of time is what lasts for everyone.
So we're the second generation. We hope to pass it along to another generation after us, which is great, and that shows how long we've had these relationships. To see them just evolve, I guess it's almost like a great big exam, if you will, to see how they do, and they always do really well.
And that's something that you actually can't get in almost any other circumstance. You can't really buy that. You can't really experience that in other ways.
They always talk about how meaningful it was to them and how proud they were of themselves for having done it.
And just having fun. And it was just joyous, you know, like to realize, to remember the fact that we do this for a reason. We do it because it broadens our view of our community. It reminds us that we're so much more than a tri-town, and that our community can extend. And it reminds us that we have a responsibility to our world and not just our community. And also reminds us that how we act with others is how we should act with those in our communities, our own communities as well. It's always just an unforgettable experience. Almost every single moment of it is memorable for everyone involved. That was the long version.